Hello everyone, this is Tokyo Ghoul Re Birth. What to reroll for? So if you're new to Tokyo Ghoul and you're wondering what to reroll for, well, this is the video for you. So we're going to be going over the two top units you should be mainly rerolling for, and then a few others that are good to think of, or if you have, it's a good bonus. So we'll go over here into gallery. So the first two units we're going to talk about is Arima and Heise. As these two units are the best we have in this game currently, and global. So in gallery we get to see the fullest potential of a character, and their highest stats, and basically maxed out everything. So over here we have their skills, their mastery, their health, damage, and defense stats. But we're going to be mainly looking at their skill, as this character is already known to do high amounts of damage. Now, it reads as 2.0 of your attack and increasing your evasion rate by 30%. Now, this is very weird how they worded it, but essentially you're increasing your damage and then increasing your evasion rate. On top of that, he will also deal 1.4 damage to one enemy 10 times. Basically, most units are going to die to this. So you don't have to worry about going through story, you don't have to worry about going through grinding, or I should say, going through the grind of your units, or grinding for materials for units, as this character is making it a breeze. Now, what this really means is you can do this with worse units in the game. It's very time saving if you got him and you're just grinding over and over and over again for materials. He really becomes a time saver because of his damage and because he can he can avoid taking damage on top of that. So the next character, which is Heise, over down here. There he is. Alright, again, we get to see his skills over here. His mastery, health, damage, defense. Again, we're going to be looking at his main skill. He will increase the attack of the front row allies for 3 turns, and then deal damage to one enemy 10 times. On top of that, he will also reduce their durability. Now, durability is a little yellow bar underneath your character and the enemy's character. And by essentially destroying that, it allows you to get in more attacks. So basically, if you have 0 attacks left, but you use the skill and you break them, all of your attacks are refreshed now. And you keep on going. Basically, this unit buffs, does good damage, and is a really good breaker. Very solid unit. So the next set of characters I was talking about are characters which are one tier lower than Heise and Arima. And these characters are really good. Again, can still carry you through the game, but they won't be as effective as these two. The first one being Eto, Shu, Ginshi, and Mutsuki. Now let's start with Eto. Now, again, we can see down here Eto's abilities, or not abilities, I should say skills that she gets. But let's go look at her main skill again. So her main skill will debuff the enemy's attack, the entire front row of the enemy attack, and then inflict paralysis and bleed for 3 turns. Now, that's really good. And as far as I know, she's a really good breaker too. She breaks through enemy durability quite nicely. But she has this paralysis and bleed effect that we don't see from the other top 2. Because in her first variation, she only has a good chance. While this level 5 variation, a level 5 version of her will guarantee this. So that means if you put a lot of investment, or if you pull her a lot somehow, that you're going to be getting that as a return. Either way, she's a very solid unit. Next is Shu. Again, we get to see his abilities, damage, health, armor. Well, let's look at his main skill. We get to see he does a very similar thing to Edo, which is nerfing the entire enemy's row of damage. But let's see what makes him different now. Now he does damage, 1.2 damage to the front row 9 times, the entire row, which is really nice. He's doing overall damage. And on top of that, he reduces the durability of the front row by 3. This is insane, and essentially, this is the reason why I prefer him over Eto, if I have this character. He debuffs them, or I should say nerfs them slightly of their attack, does damage as a whole, or AoE damage, and then reduces their durability. Very good unit. Next is Mitsuki. Now Mitsuki is a more of a buffer unit. Doesn't really do a lot of damage, can take some hits, but her main ability is increases the block rate of the front row allies for 30% for 3 turns. And on top of that, she also decreases one enemy's attack for 3 turns. Basically, the main reasoning you're going to be getting her, or if you have already, is that guard. She gives guard to the entire front row. The only thing better than guard is evasion. Basically what this is that any incoming attacks that you're going to take is already less. On top of that, she's already nerfing the enemy's attack. So your survival rate increases, if that's what you're really worried about, will increase a lot higher. You won't really have to worry about, is your unit going to die? Because basically this unit will almost guarantee them living through all the hits. Now, another unit, Ginshi, let me go over here to summon. He's on the premium banner. He's this unit back here. Now, I don't have a picture of him, unfortunately, but I do have his skill. His level 1 skill, at least, so bear with me. His level 1 skill will increase the defense of the front row, of your front row, for 3 turns. And then also, he will deal damage to one enemy for around 6 times for level 1. And then he will also paralyze the enemy for 2 turns. He's an overall really good unit, very solid. Really good if you can combine. You can see how sometimes you kind of combined this block rate, defense, attack kind of thing. If you can ever pull that off, really solid. Now, I kind of want to talk about another banner, another unit, which is the Owl unit, which is a very new banner on global. Now, I would not put him in a should reroll character. He's a type of a unit that is very kind of unique in this game right now. But on top of that being unique, that he's just not as strong. He's not as good as Arima or Heise, and he struggles to keep up with the other 4 I was talking about: Edo, Shu, Ginshi, and Mitsuki. It's a really tough time keeping up with those. But if you ever get him off all the way, yeah, I can see how he can be a really good unit. But he's just not worth the currency that you use in the game to get him, which is the gems. It requires a lot to pull from, and if you're really lucky, maybe you can scrape by with just only doing 1 through 3 rolls. But you should be prepared to re-rolling all the way, which is around 300 gems for 1 banner. So he's not a particularly good unit I think people should be going for or aiming for. Rather than the only reason why you're going to be pulling for him is because you like him. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has a really good art, we can see over here. details. I do like this art, but I would not pull from personally. I think that going for the other characters like Arima or Heise is a much better bet for clearing the game. Even the other four I mentioned, the next tier lower, is also really good. And TLDR basically for this entire thing is mostly reroll for Arya and Heise. And don't pull on this banner. Unless you really want the non-killing owl. That is it. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.